Hello everybody. Today this microphone's going to be on frame because I really don't want to set up the lav mic. I'm not even sure where it is at the moment. My space has been going through a transformation, which is why in future videos you will see the space looking like incredibly different at random throughout the process. So I do apologize for that. However, today I want to talk about a little something and then we're going to make a little something. But first, Happy Pride, everybody. Roll the new intro. So today I'm going to write a metal song. I'm not going to claim that it's going to be like the next big hit or anything, but it's going to be a little bit dark most likely because I use music to kind of get through the struggles of life. My life hasn't exactly been very easy and there's a lot of things that I haven't quite processed, and so when I write music, I tend to pour a lot of that negativity and suffering, as it were, into the music. I do write happy music too because I also like to express the good feelings, but this is my positive outlet of dealing with some of the stuff that I've struggled with, whether it be depression, anxiety, or certain other things that I'm not going to talk about in this video. But I'm going to write a metal song. So I'm going to start with a drum beat and come up with some ideas for the bass line. It's going to be a very heavily distorted bass line, so I gotta unmute my amp, put the drum beat on, and start jogging with some ideas. Here's that chunky bass. So as I'm recording the bass, you might be wondering how I exactly start writing a song. If you're getting into music or you want to, it can be a little daunting figuring out how to actually start an idea and get going with it. But the truth is that every artist has their own way of doing things and there are a lot of different starting points. But sometimes I'll start the song with a bass riff that I'm thinking of, but even sometimes I'll have an entire guitar riff or an entire idea for an entire song on the guitar side that I need to build the rest of the instruments around. But in this case, I don't actually have an idea. I'm kind of just going at it from absolutely nothing, so I literally started by just dropping in a very basic drum beat and kind of just let my hands tell me what the bass wants to sing today. And what we have is this. But that's pretty good. I'm going to roll through and create some bass lines to kind of fill out what would be like a chorus or a verse or whatever, and then I'll kind of see if I can't flavor the rest of the song with some actual guitar and then obviously vocals and stuff. So I'm gonna do that. Oh my god. And I actually think I might do vocals next, which I'm a little embarrassed to do because I haven't sung on the channel yet. But yeah, I feel like if I do the vocals first, I can know where I can fill space and where I need things to be kind of subtle, because you don't want to pile too many frequencies on top of each other.
Break me down again, drop me in the well of shame, pull my strings again, and make me swallow your medicine.
With all the rough vocals recorded, it was time for me to go in and make the drums a little bit more interesting, so it's not the same 4-bar beat repeating for the entire 3-minute song. This took a little bit of time to try and make my own custom drums, but because I'm not a drummer, I'm not really great at imagining what drums sound like. I'm a lot better when I'm actually playing a physical drum set, so I did end up using some of the built-in grooves that MT Power drum kit comes with, although I may very well do drums with my fingers. using a keyboard. I don't know though, because I'm really bad at it. Anyways, that's enough talking. The drums are done for now. The bass is done. And we got some vocals in there. It's time to start playing some lead and rhythm guitar, and then we'll do synth. I'm not one to toot my own horn most of the time, but I'm actually really happy with the way this is turning out so far, which is not a common theme. Generally, when I work on anything, I have these ideas, I record them, and when they're in there and I've spent more than 5 minutes with them, I absolutely hate them because I am my own worst critic. But this is turning out pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is off camera, I'm going to go fill out the rest of the song with some rhythm. And then I will record some lead guitar. I actually kind of want to use my wah pedal that I bought like 3 or 4 years ago, and I've never actually used it for anything. I've played around with it a little bit, but I've never actually put it into an application of any kind. Anyways, I'm going to go do that, and when we come back, we'll have guitar, we'll have bass, we'll have drums, we'll still have the same very, very rough vocals that I did no warm-ups for, and then we'll start playing some keyboards, which is actually the thing I'm the worst at. Alright, so after recording all the guitar and putting it on the timeline, getting everything kind of the way I wanted it to be, I took some time to go through every single one of those tracks individually using TDR Nova to kind of equalize things, cut out the frequencies that I really didn't want to be there because like bass is just too heavy and stuff. And just kind of got everything sounding as good as possible together to prepare it for synth. And now, if we hop over to this camera feed here, we can see that we got my Corgar 3, and we got this big chunky boy here, the WK6500 from Casio. This thing is really, really cool. My only disappointment is it doesn't have MIDI out other than MIDI USB. I would really like to plug this into the Corgar 3 and actually have like a full key set to use, but sadly that's not possible. The best that I can do is to plug this little boy into it, which I actually don't know the name of. I found this at a thrift store for $8. It's like a game controller to teach kids how to play piano and stuff, which I think is really, really cool. And there's actually a secret inside of this thing, which I will probably talk about in another video. But I'm thinking, what kind of instruments do I want from this synth for the song? And I was honestly kind of thinking this. Okay, obviously I'm kidding. That is a cool sound, but I really don't think I have any sort of application that would work for any song, let alone this one. But I do want something kind of leady. I apologize. That was probably very loud, but I absolutely love that patch and I really want to use it in this song, but I'll have to adjust the output just a little bit because I think it's a little too peaky. But the main reason that I want to use this patch, despite the fact that it's like my favorite one on the Corgar 3, is because my late friend Nathaniel actually had a Corgar 3 before he passed away, which is actually why I hunted this thing down. Sadly, it's not his, but it's still a Corgar 3, and there's actually a couple songs he wrote that were demos of songs he wanted to officially record and release that used this patch, but also the first and only song we ever did together, which was never finished, used this patch for the lead synth at the end, which I will put that synth part at the end of this video so you guys can listen to it. I will always love that song, and I will never finish it because it's It's just not right to do it without him. Anyway, without further ado, let's play around with some ideas that includes this synthesizer. I hope that I'm on camera because I'm using this webcam and I can't see what it sees. So, yeah. Okay, so I've been playing around with ideas with the Korg to figure out where in the song I actually want it to go. Putting it at the beginning seems a little bit too in your face right off the bat, and putting it into like the two different verses feels like I'm just asking for, you know, a very muddy sound because there's already a lot of stuff going on. I thought about maybe putting it in the wah pedal area where like the solo was, but I really like that kind of drop in busyness because it really just kind of fits that part of the song. And then there's the part just before the ending, but it's also a little bit busy already. A pad or something might do well in there just to fill in some background. But I'm thinking that maybe I'll have like a second solo sort of thing going on at the very end, which I think actually works out well because it pays homage to the fact that this instrument and this patch was actually used at the end of Double Dark Chocolate, which is a really cool song, and I'm probably going to upload it on my music channel, so there'll be a link down below to that channel. There may not be very much up there right now. I'm still kind of working through how I exactly want to format the videos for my music. Anyways, oh, apparently the webcam froze while I was recording this part, so I have no idea what I'm going to be putting here because I have no footage of it, apparently. Regardless, I recorded a little solo. If, in fact, it did record, you'll be seeing that right now instead of me dancing, although here's a clip of me dancing just in case you want to see it for some reason. I'm in the software now, and I'm going to see how my little solo thing played out, see if it sounds any good. Okay, that sounds pretty good. I think what I want to do here is I kind of want to have the synth fade out past the end instruments. I mean, obviously I still need to EQ this instrument and make it sound as nice as possible because right now it really doesn't feel like it fits. I'm probably going to go with reverb or something just so it kind of piles into the back a bit and I can bring the volume down. I want it to be audible, but I kind of want it to be an undertone. But I'm going to see what it sounds like if I add a point here and then I kind of like drop this volume. That didn't add a point. Why didn't you add a point? There we go. Now I'm going to drop this down. Yeah, that's all right. Okay, those little adjustments that I did actually worked really, really well because it kind of brings up the highs, which I kind of want because the ending is somewhat bassy, and it took the kind of the really muffled sounding low end of it and kind of brought it down a bit. So now it sounds actually more clear than it did before, which works out because if it's already a little bit kind of muffled and unclear in the background, then putting any sort of effects on it's just going to make it more so. But now it's clear and it sounds good, and I can actually add effects to it to kind of blend it in a bit more. And I like to use reverb because it brings all the frequencies down a little bit, sort of, depending on the settings you use, and then it kind of makes it feel distant. And because a lot of these instruments are already kind of very much in your face, I want something that kind of sits in the background and adds a little extra to it without just being like a... Okay, sounds pretty good, but I want to see how the song kind of blends into it because I feel like it might kind of just drop in too heavy. Okay, I've done the EQ. I added some reverb to it, and it sounds pretty good. I adjusted the volume to kind of try and blend it in there. I kind of want it in your face because it's the ending. I want it to be loud and then kind of fade off, but I don't want it to be like too loud, so I might adjust the volume a bit more. But I also wanted to see how it feels to have it just drop in, because this instrument isn't anywhere else in the song, and I can't see anywhere else that will fit. So, yeah, it fits well. However, I've discovered that my guitar must have been out of tune, or fallen out of tune, probably from me cleaning it, right here. So I'm going to have to re-record this part, which means perhaps I can reinvent it a little bit. Maybe I can fade in the synth or something. I don't actually know just yet, but I'm going to play around a bit. But yeah, I think that we're pretty much close to finishing this song. I'm going to see if there's anywhere I can put synth. If it really doesn't feel like it's going to work out, I'm not even going to bother, because I don't want to make this song feel too busy. So I'm going to play around a bit and I'll get back to you when it's done. Okay, so the song is in fact done. I spent some time off camera kind of adjusting the tone of all the different instrument layers, adjusting the drums a bit, EQ, effects, kind of trying to mix everything and make everything sound like it's supposed to be together. I fixed the part of the guitar that was out of tune and actually changed it up to something different, which I actually like more, but guitar tone sculpting is something I struggle with. It probably has something to do with my hardware. I mean, the amp I have is kind of technically a practice amp. It's not really meant for recording, but regardless. The thing I was struggling most with when it comes to this song was the vocals, and that's always the issue that I have, trying to get the vocals to sit in the mix in a way that I'm happy with. And part of the reason that I have issues recently, at least with this song, is because this microphone, while it's really good for like voiceovers and soft singing, if you're gonna try and do any sort of aggressive singing in this microphone, it tends to distort like crazy, which is why in the final result of the song, which will be a link in the description to my music channel where there's just music, was the fact that I was starting the song off going, break me down again, which means I'm going like up really high, and obviously right now I'm singing pretty quiet because it's early in the morning, but that was a very raspy kind of aggressive way of singing, and I went from loud to louder, and that made this thing go cuckoo nutso. So I ended up deciding to go break me down again. So rather than going up really high, I'm kind of starting at sort of a middle high-low sort of vibe, and then going down a little bit more, because that's actually where my voice shines the most. I can sing high, but not great. Anyways, I'm rambling again. I decided to change the way I was singing the vocals, but not only just the way I was singing them, but also the way I was recording them. So I decided to double track them. I recorded the same parts twice, and I panned one vocal track to the left and one vocal track to the right, and then I actually took those two same ones and I doubled them again, but I cut them off at a certain part of the song so that the two right and left for most of the song, and then at a certain part these get deleted or basically dropped out, and then the two identical ones get panned off to a different track with slightly different effects on them to make them sit in that part of the song a little better. It doesn't make a lot of sense without the visual, but you'll hear it in the song. The vocal kind of tone and styling, or not the styling, the way the vocals sound changes at a certain part of the song. Anyways, the song is done. I'm not 100% happy with it, but I am happy with it. It is pretty good. It's not as good as I would hope it would be, but with limited hardware and recording equipment and the space that I'm working in right now, I kind of have to give myself a little bit of a break. Not to mention I'm rusty. It's been a long time since I wrote a song, so here I am again. I'm back. If you guys want to see me do more music-related videos like this, like the process style thing, just let me know in the comments. I actually got a new electronic drum kit. Mine was stolen in 2019, and I've been struggling to find one at a decent price. I actually had to save up quite a bit for the one that I had, and the one I had kind of sucked. This one, however, this is a TD6V, which some people might say is kind of garbo, but I got it for 150 bucks, which was kind of a last minute decision. I've been keeping an eye out for a drum set for a while. This thing showed up and I said, yes, I want that, and I want that now because it's a Roland. Like, I was using a really low one Alesis before, and this thing, proven by the fact that I've been playing it for the last 2 days, is absolute perfection for a person like me who just wants a fairly, cheap, affordable drum set that still sounds really good. Like, obviously most of the kits suck, but I found one that I really, really liked, and I think I want to try and actually write a song with it. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Here's a little outro thing with the preview of the Double Dark Chocolate song I alluded to earlier. And I'll see you guys next time. Happy Pride. You guys are amazing. You are valid. You are incredible. And reach for the stars.